What is Proposition 227? Prop 227, also known as English for Your Children, was introduced by Ron Unz and presented to California voters in June 2, 1998. This law had required limited English proficient students to be placed into a sheltered or structured English immersion classroom where all instruction is taught in English. Ideally, after 1 year, LEP students would have acquired a good working knowledge of English and would be transferred into mainstream classes. Classrooms are taught in English unless a waiver was signed by the parents. But even with a waiver, there need to be more than 20 waivers to create a bilingual class. If less than 20 waivers, students would have the right to transfer into a different school. The negative effects of Prop 227 was, first off, it was proposed by a businessman who had no idea what it takes to create a successful English language learner program. Prop 227 is based on myths and misunderstanding instead of educational research. 1 year instruction is not enough to attain proficiency in English in an academic setting. Also, there was a one-size-fits-all approach to ELL programs. In addition, there had a 92% failure rate according to unzoned standards. In 2002, only 1 in 13 limited English proficiency students were redesignated as fluent English proficient, and many of these students had already been in English programs for more than 1 year. What can we do to fix it?
We're here today to unveil a critical bill that's going to allow our California workforce to continue to produce multilingual, multiliterate students to help us advance our goals to create a global workforce for California and ensure that California continues to be competitive and be the 8th largest economy in the world. The way we're going to do that today is by asking voters in the 2016 election to revisit Prop 227 from 1998, which really limits the ability to for public schools to be able to offer dual immersion or multilingual immersion programs at the public school level. And so I think it's time for us to have this conversation again and revisit.
What is Senate Bill 1174? Senate Bill 1174, also known as the California Education for a Global Economy Initiative, was introduced by Senator Ricardo Lara. It was amended in Senate April 23, 2014. Some of the supporters for this bill include California Association for Bilingual Education, Californians Together, and a coalition of teachers, parents, education advocates, and civil rights groups. It is an initiative to repeal Prop 227 and introduces multilingual education as an asset and not as a problem. SB 1174 will provide a multilingual education for the 21st century economy. It will provide multilingual instruction and multiliteracy, and it will give students access to valuable 21st century language skills and give parents more choice over their child's education. As Lara mentioned, it will ensure that every student in California has the opportunity to be in a multilingual program. When the bill is passed by the state legislature, it will be put on the November 2016 ballot. The bill will remove sheltered English immersion requirement and the waiver provisions. It will determine the best language instruction methods for students, while consulting experts in the field, parents, and communities to find the best models. It will also remove the liability cloud, which holds teachers and schools liable if students do not learn English.
The focus of Prop 227 is to teach children English as rapidly and effectively as possible. As you can see on this slide, SB 1174 will be switching the focus of English education towards innovative teaching methods supported by actual research, not assumptions. Unz believes that biliteracy programs were ineffective, when the truth is that they are actually the most effective programs for learning language and content information. An important aspect of Senator Lara's bill is the fact that he does not see bilingualism as a problem that needs to be solved. In fact, Lara believes that being bilingual is a valuable asset for everyone. By framing SB 1174 as one that promotes educational equity and excellence while also creating pathways for success in the 21st century, the bill will appeal to a large number of voters. It's hard to argue with a bill that wants a bright future and global success for future generations. So why should we support bilingual education? As you can see from these graphs, more of the world's population is bilingual than monolingual, and even in the U.S., it is experiencing a steady trend towards bilingualism as well. Aside from the obvious benefit of cross-cultural communication, the ability to speak more than one language has also been shown to positively affect cognitive abilities. In fact, researchers believed that the bilingual brain has better attention and task switching capabilities than the monolingual brain. Students who maintain a strong connection to their home culture and language are actually more successful in school. Extensive research has shown that students who build strong biliteracy skills have a higher academic success, a foundation for increased salary earnings, and stronger cognitive skills as they grow older.
Some critiques of SB 1174 are that it doesn't ensure that bilingual education will be provided when it is in fact the best language instruction method. School districts and parents can determine the best education models, but only if they can be provided. So how will we know that schools are providing the highest quality education for English learners, or if they're maintaining the discriminatory effects of Prop 227? Moreover, SB 1174 doesn't address teacher qualifications. Students deserve the highest quality education, so their teachers may need training or an additional license. There are also implications for how teachers are taught. For example, mastery and credential programs will need to adequately prepare teachers for multilingual classrooms. We'll face some obstacles in getting the bill passed. We'll need support from the governor and both congressional houses, and there will also be opposing viewpoints. You can ask me about strong arguments in support of SB 1174 later. So we've been reading about these issues all quarter. First of all, and I quote, "Every child should have the right to identify positively with her original mother tongue and have her identification accepted and respected by others." But these rights have never been guaranteed in the U.S. The National Research Council introduces 21st century skills, one of which is effective communication. And we learned that there are unreasonable time limits placed on students to develop their English proficiency, and this is especially true after Prop 227 was passed. And, as we learned from Professor Gibson, monolingual education is a push towards assimilation rather than accommodation.